What is up, people? My name is Ruben. Welcome to Strike Back Games, and today we are doing something a little bit different. I put together all my Deathstroke reviews for you, put them all together to give you the story so far. The reason I'm calling it that is because this is an ongoing series, and I just want to give you the first major arc of the series. See if you like it or not. So, let's get into the story. The issue starts off with Deathstroke giving us a little introduction about himself, saying although he's the world's greatest mercenary, responsible for over 600 kills, he's not a bad guy. He's just a guy who loves adventure. Slade meets up with his middleman to get his next mission that will take him to Russia to eliminate a guy named Possum, who Slade's had a past history with. While in Russia, Slade meets up with his contact, Angelica, and wastes no time getting reacquainted. I guess even super soldier mercenaries need love too. Angelica and Slade make quick work of Possum's bodyguards and have Possum tied up, but just as things look all taken care of, Possum paralyzes Deathstroke with the phrase, "the key unlocking." Possum kills Angelica and turns his attention to Deathstroke, and assures him that his death will be slow and very painful. But Deathstroke won't go down so easily and shoves his sword handle through Possum's face. Wounded and bleeding, he decides to retreat before backup arrives, but just his luck, the backup arrives. We then see why Deathstroke is one of the best, as he kills everything in his path. The barely standing Deathstroke makes it to another one of his contacts. Although he can't remember his name, he knows it's an old guy who owes him one. But before he can get into a conversation with them, he faints. 16 days later, Slade finally wakes up, with N, whose name is Ching, telling him it's now him who owes the debt. He also noticed something's way off. It's probably the fact that he has both eyes and is about 20 years younger. Issue 2 starts off with Slade analyzing his newfound youth. We also get a location as to where he is. He's in the Ukraine, at one of his many fortresses, because when you're a super assassin, a fortress is just something you need. Slade hears somebody calling out his name, then sees a guy in a chair and takes a swing at him. This turns out to be a hologram. He then meets another guy in a mask calling himself Red Fury, who says he's compromised all of Slade's safe houses and emptied all of his bank accounts, even the top secret ones no one was supposed to know about. Red Fury tells Slade that he recently hired him to complete a mission, one so secret that even Slade couldn't have any knowledge about it. Now a person named Odysseus is trying to kill him and Red Fury, along with a bunch of other people that Slade gave up while talking to Possum in the previous issue. But before Red Fury can tell him more, some Odysseus soldiers show up, and it's time to do what Slade Wilson does best, and that's make things not be alive anymore. First he takes a quick head count, putting them at 300. The enemy soldiers are just trying to rush Deathstroke, waiting for him to run out of bullets. But once he does, he adds a more personal touch, using his swords to cut down everything in his path. Still outnumbered, Deathstroke detonates a bomb, killing all but one of the soldiers. He starts questioning him, and thanks to Red Fury's truth serum, he learns that Odysseus needs him so he can become a god. Elsewhere we see some shady people meeting. The lady tells the guy that Deathstroke is alive, and the guy replies by saying they should have nuked the city to get him. The lady says that they have the codes out of him, and soon they'll have the people they're looking for. And in the meantime, the guy will lead the League of Assassins in hunting down Deathstroke. The two turning out to be Lady Shiva and Bronze Tiger. We cut back to Slade, who's traveling pretty much without a destination, as it's been a few days with no further enemy attacks or signs of Red Fury. He feels like his mind isn't quite right, and with that he decides to take the truth serum Red Fury gave him. This suddenly takes him into a flashback of the desert and a meeting with his son Jericho. Issue 3 starts off with the still wandering Slade searching for one of his hideouts, which may or may not be compromised. He hopes it's not, which is weird because Slade Wilson doesn't hope. He gets results. Despite his best efforts to keep moving forward, he passes out, giving us a look at what happened with his son Jericho. After freeing him, they take on some Odysseus soldiers, with Deathstroke taking the lead. Jericho gets surrounded by some scientists, but his powers come out, killing all of them. After taking down a wall, they come face to face with Odysseus, who's come back from the dead with the help of Jericho's life force. Now in present time, Slade has made his way to his hideout and finds a satellite phone he has stored in case of emergencies. But before he can make a call, someone shoots the phone out of his hand. That person being Tiggs, who is actually Bronze Tiger, who doesn't recognize him with his new youth upgrades. They start fighting with Slade getting the upper hand quickly, but before things can get too far out of hand, Red Fury shows up and tells him that Bronze Tiger is on his side. He just doesn't remember it yet. Red Fury takes both of them further up north to a safe location, where Red Fury confirms that Odysseus is Charles Henry Wilson, Slade Wilson's dad. As far as Fury knows, Jericho is the only one who can kill Odysseus, and that was a mission which didn't go according to plan, as Odysseus survived and Jericho disappeared. Fury has gotten info that Jericho is in Gotham, and after Bronze Tiger's debrief, Slade will be sent to Gotham. In Gotham, Harley Quinn gets a call from Amanda Waller, who tells her that Slade Wilson is on his way to town. Harley's ready to get some revenge on him for selling her out to the Russians. The issue starts off with Bronze Tiger being debriefed by Red Fury as Slade watches. Red Fury says Bronze Tiger has been part of the operation for months. Once Red Fury gets all the info he needs, he places false memories in his head, leaving Odysseus and the League of Assassins none the wiser. Slade sees an opening and takes it by stabbing Red Fury with his own truth serum to finally get some straight answers from him. Red Fury is very upset by this, to say the least, and tries to attack, but some quick reflexes by Slade reveal that Red Fury is actually a woman. With the truth serum in full effect, she gives up her real name and the group she works for, called the Dead Bastards. In the middle of telling Slade everything she knows, Victor Ruiz enters the room, a person Slade thought was dead. But he's not the only one. Angelica also enters the room, alive and well. Ruiz then says the CIA believes Odysseus' power can destroy nations and must be stopped, that power being the ability to enter people's minds and control them. Slade's not super thrilled about killing his father again, but says he'll do it to protect Jericho. Elsewhere we see Odysseus and Lady Shiva surrounded by thousands of newly found followers, thanks to his mind control ability. He also has his followers actively searching for Jericho. Bronze Tiger arrives giving the news that he has killed Deathstroke, and that Jericho is in Gotham. Shiva doesn't believe him, and a quick mind read by Odysseus proves all this info to be true, thanks to Red Fury's memory tampering. Odysseus then sends Bronze Tiger, Shiva, and 5 of his followers to Gotham to retrieve his grandson. In Gotham, Jericho goes down a dark alley looking for his sister Rose. He instead finds some random thugs, but before anything can happen, Ravager shows up and makes short work of them. Now that she's found them, Ravager says she has help, no one Jericho would know, but he promises to fix him and never allow anyone to hurt him again. In another part of Gotham, Deathstroke catches up with Harley Quinn, on top of a train of all places. He asks her if she's seen his daughter Ravager around, or anyone who's left piles of body parts lying around. She says she has, and takes him to an abandoned school on the edge of town. He knocks down the door and finds a pile of dead bodies, but quickly realizes he's been set up. So are we getting a Deathstroke vs Harley Quinn deathmatch? Nope, surprise people, it's a Deathstroke vs Batman showdown in the next issue. The issue starts off with Deathstroke and Batman beginning to fight, and not no hugs and tickles fight, a full-on death battle is happening before us. Batman goes for a sleeper hold but settles for slamming Deathstroke's head against the ground. While Deathstroke is getting some decent blows in, Batman seems to be getting the upper hand, making Deathstroke question what's wrong with him. Turns out he's still not used to fighting with both eyes. Although Victor put a dark tint on the right side, he can still see out of it and is throwing him off. This leaves him with only one choice, to fight dirty, but not in the way you think. He starts telling Batman that he's only in town to find his son, and if anything happens to him, he'll hold Batman responsible. This gives Deathstroke the opening he's looking for, as Batman slows down a bit to question Harley, who's been watching the fight. Although back in the fight, he still feels slightly off, like it's taking longer to process his thoughts. And in a fight against Batman, being off by a second is too much. Batman's next move is a killing blow, but since Batman doesn't kill, Deathstroke is able to counter it and put an end to the fight. But from behind, Harley hits him with her mallet. The fight picks back up, but it's soon's at a stalemate. Harley gets tired of the whole affair and sets a bomb off, with both Deathstroke and Batman getting caught in the blast radius. Harley lets her guard down now that she's won, but her victory is cut short by Deathstroke, who's still alive. She then spills info that his daughter Rose is working for the Penguin, and Harley says she'll take him to all the Penguin's safe houses to find her. Meanwhile, in Gotham Harbor, Rose and Jericho are waiting for Rose's friend to help Jericho control his powers. But that friend turns out to be Possum, who does the same thing he did to Deathstroke in the first issue, leaving Jericho helpless. Rose cuts his head off, but it doesn't do much good as Odysseus has arrived. Harley takes Deathstroke to Gotham Harbor to find Rose and Jericho, but when they get there they find Possum's cut up body. Slade warns Harley not to get too close, but she of course doesn't listen. This is when Possum's body comes to life and starts attacking the duo. Slade wonders how Possum can still be alive as he's currently in 3 pieces, saying that not even his healing factor is that good. With some help from Harley, Slade is able to impale Possum's head, and after some very electrifying interrogation, he gives up the location of Rose and Jericho. At Gotham Airport, Odysseus is ready to leave the city now that he has Jericho. Lady Shiva wants to kill Rose, but Odysseus stops her, because if he can't control his own family, how is he supposed to control whole countries? As a last resort, Jericho goes into self-destruct mode. Odysseus can't stop him, but he can take his remaining energy, and he puts his mask on him. Before he can take all his energy, Deathstroke and Harley show up to cause some damage. Harley takes out some soldiers and Deathstroke goes right for Odysseus. Deathstroke says the man he knew as his father is dead and now has become something else. Something else he has no problem killing. Their fight causes Slade's mask to fall off, giving Odysseus his first look at the youth upgrade he's gotten since their last encounter. Odysseus says the younger person in front of him is nothing but an imposter, but Slade gets up declaring, "I am Slade Wilson, I am Deathstroke the Terminator," and with that he throws Odysseus onto the sharp metal plane wreckage of a plane that Harley shot down earlier. Seeing his master apparently killed in front of him sends Bronze Tiger into a rage, and he puts his claws right through Slade's chest. But before he can do any more damage, Victor Ortiz plays a frequency that stops him. Rose now sees the younger Slade and doesn't believe it's him either. She's ready to kill him, but before she can, Jericho says he's had enough violence for one day, and everything goes green. And that's the last thing that Slade remembers, a blinding green light. When he wakes up, he's in one of Victor's secret CIA outposts, and apparently is made an offer he can't refuse by Red Fury. The details aren't given, but one thing is for sure, Deathstroke will be back. So there you go guys, there's the story so far, and like I said, this is an ongoing series. If you're interested, you can pick up Deathstroke number 7 on June 24th, where a new story arc will happen. I'm not sure if I'm going to be continuing this one. It was okay, I liked it, it was very hit or miss, but it did get Deathstroke's character down pretty good, so I might, not sure.